Oh, dear.
This is, if you didn't know it, Gary Glitter, who's done for rock and roll what Laurie McMenamin's done for non-alcoholic lager. Whatever that may mean. Whatever that may mean. Welcome to Manchester.
Thank you. You know how to make a young man happy.
How old are you? You're variously reported to be 31 and 47. Where does the truth lie?
Somewhere between...
Yes. Nearer 31.
Well, you know, I suppose... Well, I'm a bit romantic, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not a new romantic. I'm more of an old romantic. So that brings me around about the 50s when I was born, yeah.
1950s?
Yeah, late, yes.
You're a shy, you're basically a shy lad. You've got, I mean, you're soberly dressed tonight. Don't sit like that. But you use a costume as part of your act, presumably. Well, Russell, yes, what else do you think he's dressed like that?
Absolutely. I mean, I can't wear jeans and a suit like this. I mean, you're a 19th century man. I'm a 21st century man, right?
Well, thank you very much.
Well, that's left over from, I mean, from the sort of Victorian upbringing, I suppose.
Right.
And...
Mine?
Yeah.
I'm saying right, and then thinking about it.
But, you know, what I try to do is be a little bit looking into the future, I think. And this is very futuristic, and I love it. I mean, it's just mad fun, but it's much more comfortable than what you're wearing. And I couldn't go on stage like that because I'd be very dull and uninterested.
I don't know how to tell you this, Gary, but I couldn't actually talk to people wearing that. At least,
why not? Anybody got a... Let's have a jacket. Has anybody got a jacket? Hang on, here's one. Now, try this on.
Oh, Gary.
It'll make you feel so much better.
Do you think it will?
Well, you're talking to me.
What do you make me look like a...
Come on. Look like a what, dear?
Chip shop is what I was going... Actually,
chip shop, there we are, look at this. Now, doesn't he look better already?
Do I look better? Do I look better?
Well, go and stand in front of the band.
I feel worse. I feel worse. I'll put it on afterwards, to go out to supper with you afterwards.
All right.
You have a quite distinct way of approaching an audience. Watching you on certain films and things, you almost, in fact, make love, if that's not too violent a phrase, to the audience.
Yes, I think it is a love affair, really. Certainly in my show, because we have this great audience participation. Do you want to touch? Yeah. And they shout back, yeah. I mean, take last night, for example. We were in Norwich, and suddenly, you know, the audience decided that they want to take over, and they sing Jingle Bells to me, right? Yeah. Which was really nice.
You mean, but you weren't going to sing that, and they decided to do it for you?
But I always leave the gaps for where I want them to do something.
Right.
And they surprise me every night. So we have this lovely sort of backwards and forwards thing. And it's always a surprise.
But you taunt them, don't you? You tantalise them.
Yeah.
I notice occasionally you stop in the middle of a walk down.
And give them a funny look, you know, one of those.
Yeah. But that's done deliberately to tantalise them in a kind of way.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yes, teasing.
Right.
All part of the craft.
Little foreplay, little foreplay.
Little foreplay, right. Little foreplay.
How much of your debt have you paid off, Gary?
Not a lot, not a lot. I'm trying, I'm really working on it. I mean, it's taken me 2 years, in fact, to get back to the stage when I get invited on your show. But I must tell you that I have been invited on the other shows, and I said, no, I'll wait till Russell Harty asks me, so there we are.
Well, it was about 4 or 5 years ago, the last time we met, that you actually told me that you were going to retire forever and go to a desert island and settle down with the little lady.
That's right.
Well, what happened to that?
Well, the little lady didn't work out for very long, but I did go for the various islands, and I went off around the world, and I think I was looking, you know, I was really searching for another alternative, because I'd been singing for 22 years. And I wanted to find out, see if there's anything else in life.
You seem much happier now than you were. Is that an illusion?
No, I am absolutely happy. I mean, it's the sweetest thing that can ever happen to you when, you know, eventually you do make a comeback and and it does work. You know, thank you very much. I know
that's very gracious.
These kids
are interesting kids, aren't they?
They're fantastic.
When you were in trouble, you had to sell your clothes.
Yes.
And they've
got them
helped
on.
you out, didn't they? They went... Where did you sell them at a sale in Harrods?
Well, yes, we did the Harrods some, because I thought, you see, we'd put it on the, you know, it was such a big event, we'd put it in the social calendar, you know, it's being circulated to the court and everything else.
Of course,
you know,
yes.
and we'll keep
all
it
the
like
best
that.
people shop at Harrods and could, in fact, buy your clothes.
Well, that's right.
Absolutely. And they've bought them. They're wearing certain parts of your clothing now, aren't they? Mm-hmm. Did they have to tailor them down? Well, I notice you do have a bit of...
I'm not a sex symbol now.
What are you?
I'll take life much easier than that.
Because you do have a bit of a belly, don't you?
Yes, I'm not a boy anymore. I'm a man now. That's quite different. You know?
And men do have...
And I feel like a man.
Right, right.
Careful!
Yes, not at this moment, I don't think. Now, what, you're absolutely finally settled now with the name Gary Glitter as well. You've grown into that, I presume.
Yes, very much so.
Because you've been all sorts of... what you've been called Rubber Bucket, haven't you? That's your name.
Yeah, I was Rubber Bucket, Paul Monday. And, I mean, when we were trying to choose the name of Gary Glitter, I mean, it came about... I told you about that last time, didn't I?
Refresh me.
Well, we were watching Rock Around the Clock, and there were several people from the old Ready Steady Go days,
yeah.
Michael Aldred. It was, in fact, Michael Aldred's idea, and he said, let's... You know, in the 60s, they had those... the names like Billy Fury, Marty Wilde, Vince Eager, you know, all had names. And we said, let's make up some names for the 70s. And he said he wanted to be Terry Tinsel. And I said, oh, I want to be Gary Glitter. And there was other Horace Hydrogen, Vicky Vomit. I mean, there were so many, right?
Anyway, you're happy and settled with Gary Glitter, aren't you, now?
Yes, I think so.
I mean, we ought to just send a little message to the people who are waiting for you tonight in Essex. Because you're about to appear tonight. Tonight, yes. As we speak. Tonight. At Colchester. Is it Essex?
Yes, we're doing Essex University tonight. And if the plane, we've hired a plane.
I think the airport near Colchester just closed down again. You know that the fog's coming up and going down, and you may have to get into a very fast car. But we're hopeful that you'll be there in an hour or two. We're going to see you at the very end of this particular programme, in another 20 minutes or so. Meanwhile, for the time being, Gary Glitter, thank you very much.